The sun had already begun its descent, casting long shadows over the rows of suburban homes as I pedaled my bike down the street. I remember the day clearly. Not because of its significance, but because of the sheer ordinariness that would soon be shattered. My name is Rick, a typical high school junior with an average life and an avid gamer. That day, as I meandered through the neighborhood, I stumbled upon a garage sale. An old CRT monitor flickered amongst the clutter of discarded treasures, catching my eye. Drawn in by a mix of curiosity and nostalgia, I rummaged through a box of old video games. That's when I found it. A game cartridge labeled Realms Beyond. It was an RPG, a genre I loved. But the game was unfamiliar. Lost to time and obscurity. Intrigued, I bought it for a few bucks, unaware that this simple transaction would mark the beginning of a journey far beyond any ordinary gaming experience. Returning home, I set up the game on my console. The title screen flickered to life, pixelated and colorful, promising adventure and mystery. I entered my username, Shadowwalker, and began my journey in the fantastical world of Realms Beyond. The game was surprisingly immersive, a masterpiece forgotten by the world. As the hours slipped by, I delved deeper into dungeons and battled mythical creatures, completely engrossed. It was a kind of escape I craved after long days filled with the monotony of school and homework. However, as the night grew darker and the house quietened, something in the game shifted. As I navigated through a shadowy forest in the game, a faint voice whispered through the speakers. It was soft, almost inaudible, but unmistakably calling my real name, Rick. I paused, my fingers hovering over the controller. It had to be my imagination, I reasoned, a side effect of too many hours staring at the screen. Yet, there was a part of me, a small, nagging voice in the back of my mind, that sensed something was off. I shook off the feeling and continued playing, telling myself it was just a game. But as I progressed, I couldn't shake the unease that had settled over me, the feeling that something in Realms Beyond was not what it seemed. Little did I know, that was just the beginning. The following evening, I returned to Realms Beyond with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The game had left an indelible mark on my mind, its mysteries seeping into my thoughts throughout the day. I reassured myself that the voice was a figment of my imagination, a trick played by a tired mind in the late hours of the night. But as I navigated through the game's intricate world, the voice returned. This time, it was louder, more pronounced, unmistakably calling out, Rick. It wasn't through an NPC, non-player character, there was no dialogue box. It was as if the voice was coming from the game itself, ethereal and disembodied. I froze, my heart racing. This was no glitch, no random bug. The voice knew my name, my real name, not my username. I sat there, controller in hand, a cold chill running down my spine. Was the game hacked? Was someone playing a cruel joke on me? Curiosity overcame fear, and I decided to delve deeper into the mystery. I scoured gaming forums and online communities, searching for any mention of Realms Beyond. Surprisingly, there was little to no information about the game. It was as if it had never existed, save for the copy lying in my console. I tried discussing it with my friends at school, but none of them had heard of the game. They joked about it, suggesting it was haunted, but I could tell they didn't take it seriously. I felt isolated, alone with this bizarre experience that no one else could understand. Night after night, I continued to play, the voice growing more frequent. It whispered secrets, things I had never shared with anyone. My private thoughts, fears, and memories were laid bare by this unseen presence. The boundary between the game and reality began to blur, and I found myself questioning everything. Was I losing my mind? Was there something more to this game, something sinister and inexplicable? I had to find out. But the deeper I went, the more I felt like I was losing a part of myself to Realms Beyond. As days turned into weeks, my obsession with Realms Beyond grew. The voice became a constant presence, its whispers intermingling with the game's soundtrack. It knew things about me, my fears, my regrets, even my secret desires. It felt like it was peering into my very soul, unearthing thoughts I had never dared to voice. The game itself began to change. New paths opened in the once familiar landscapes, leading to dark, twisted versions of the game's world. The characters I had interacted with started to behave oddly, their pixelated faces sometimes glitching into grotesque expressions. They spoke in riddles, hinting at a deeper, darker truth behind the game. I started researching the game's origins fervently. I scoured the internet, visited local game stores, and reached out to online gaming communities. No one seemed to have heard of Realms Beyond. It was as if the game existed only for me. My grades began to slip, and my friends grew concerned. I became distant, my thoughts consumed by the game and its mysteries. My parents questioned my behavior, but I brushed off their concerns, assuring them I was just stressed about school. One night, as the voice grew more insistent, whispering secrets about a childhood I had long buried, I realized this was no longer just a game. It was a window into something else, something inexplicable and terrifying. I made a decision. I would record my gameplay, capture the voice, and prove to myself and others that I wasn't losing my mind. I set up a camera, hit record, and delved once again into the twisted world of Realms Beyond. But the game had other plans. As I navigated through a particularly eerie level, the voice stopped. In its place, a message appeared on the screen, in blood-red pixels. Some secrets are better left unexplored, Rick. The game crashed, the screen going black. The recording showed nothing but gameplay, the voice conspicuously absent. I was left with more questions than answers, my sense of reality shaken. I knew then that I had to confront whatever was behind Realms Beyond. I had to uncover the truth, no matter how deep I had to dig or how dark the path might be. The game was no longer just a game, it was a challenge, a puzzle that I was determined to solve. But as I would soon learn, some puzzles are better left unsolved. My quest for answers reached a fever pitch. The voice in Realms Beyond had become more aggressive, its messages more personal and disturbing. It seemed to feed off my fear, growing stronger with each. Then came the night that changed everything. I had reached a level in the game that I had never seen before. It was shrouded in perpetual darkness, the only light coming from flickering torches on the walls of a decrepit castle. The atmosphere was suffocating, the air thick with a sense of impending doom. As I navigated the dimly lit corridors, the voice returned. This time, it was clearer, more human-like, yet laced with malice. It began recounting a memory from my childhood, a dark secret that I had locked away deep within me, something no one else knew. I felt a chill run down my spine. How could the game possibly know about that? The walls of the castle seemed to close in on me, the torches casting long, sinister shadows. Then, the game took a sinister turn. The screen began to glitch, images flashing rapidly. I saw brief glimpses of my own life, my house, my school, even my bedroom. The images were distorted, nightmarish versions of my reality. I tried to turn the console off, but it was useless. The game continued to run, the voice taunting me, blurring the lines between the digital world and my own. Panic set in as I realized that Realms Beyond was not just a game, it was something else, something alive and malevolent. In a last desperate attempt, I unplugged the console. The screen went dark, and for a moment, there was silence. I sat there in the darkness, my heart pounding, trying to process what had just happened. But the voice had one last message for me, one that would haunt me forever. As the room plunged into silence, a whisper echoed through the air, chilling me to the bone. You can't escape your past, Rick. You can't escape me. The words hung in the air, a sinister promise that this was far from over. I realized then that I was dealing with something beyond my comprehension, a force that had latched onto me, invading my life through a seemingly innocent video game. I was left with a deep sense of dread, a feeling that whatever had reached out from Realms Beyond was now a part of my world, a shadow that I could never fully escape. In the days that followed, the world seemed to shift around me. The once comfortable confines of my room felt oppressive, as if the walls were imbued with the echoes of that voice from Realms Beyond. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that the game had somehow crossed into my reality. Desperate for help, I confided in my friend Mark, a tech-savvy classmate who had always had a fascination with the unusual. I showed him the game and explained everything. At first, he was skeptical, but as I recounted my experiences, I saw a growing concern. Together, we delved into the inner workings of the game, dissecting its code in search of answers. As we pored over lines of programming, we stumbled upon something chilling, snippets of code that seemed to reference real-world data, my data. It was as if the game was designed to tap into the player's personal information, but the purpose remained unclear. The more we uncovered, the more Mark's skepticism turned into alarm. He suggested that perhaps the game was a sophisticated piece of malware, designed for some dark purpose beyond our understanding. Determined to rid myself of this digital nightmare, we attempted to delete the game. But it was stubborn, clinging to the console like a digital parasite. After several attempts, we finally managed to erase it, the screen flickering as the last remnants of Realms Beyond vanished. For a moment, there was a sense of relief, a hope that maybe this was the end of it. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. The voice, the knowledge it had of my life, couldn't be explained by mere code and programming. The days that followed were filled with unease. I jumped at shadows, every unexpected sound sending a jolt of fear through me. The whispers had stopped, but the feeling of being watched remained. Mark stayed in touch, checking on me, but there was little he could do. We had destroyed the game, but the fear it instilled in me lingered. I was left to ponder the nature of Realms Beyond. Was it a haunted relic, a cursed object from a digital realm? Or was it something else, a creation of someone or something with malicious intent? The answers eluded me, and perhaps they always would. But one thing was certain, I had been changed by the experience. The line between reality and the digital world had been blurred, and I found myself questioning everything around me. As I tried to return to a semblance of normalcy, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. The game was gone, but its echoes remained, a haunting reminder of the unknown that lurked just beyond the screen. In the aftermath of Realms Beyond, life took on a surreal quality. The mundane routine of school and home felt disconnected, as if I was moving through a fog. I kept to myself, the once easy chatter with friends now replaced by silent introspection. They noticed the change in me, but I couldn't find the words to explain it. How could I? My room, once a sanctuary, now felt like a prison. The shadows seemed deeper than Mark continued to be a source of support, but even he couldn't dispel the dread that had settled in my heart. We talked less about realms beyond and more about mundane things, but the game was always there, an unspoken presence between us. As time passed, the intensity of my fear began to fade, replaced by a deep-seated unease. I returned to gaming, but I approached it with caution, always wary of what lay beyond the pixels and code. Then, one evening, as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, I heard it a faint whisper, barely audible. My name, spoken in the same ethereal tone as the voice from the game. I sat up, heart racing, scanning the shadows of my room. But there was nothing. No malevolent presence, no digital specter. Just the quiet of the night and the distant hum of the city outside. I knew then that the voice was not bound to the game. It was something else, something that defied explanation. It had touched my life, leaving an indelible mark on my soul. I lay back down, a mix of fear and resignation washing over me. The game was gone, but its legacy remained. A part of me wondered if I would ever truly be free of it, or if it would always be there, lurking in the depths of my mind. Realms Beyond had been more than just a game. It was a journey into the unknown, a glimpse into the shadows that lie just beyond our understanding. And though I had emerged from it, I was not the same. I was left with a profound awareness of the mysteries that exist at the edges of our reality, and the unsettling truth that sometimes, those mysteries reach out to us. As I drifted off to sleep, a part of me remained vigilant, listening for the whispers that now seemed an inescapable part of my existence. The game was over, but its echoes would haunt me forever, a reminder that some things, once awakened, can never truly be silenced.